So this is Commissioner Bill Kanda. The recess is ready to, and we're going to reconvene the BOCC meeting. We had a workshop, and as a result of that financial workshop, which was necessary, we're going to have Braden give us a presentation on what the recommendations might be for us to consider. Go ahead, Braden.
Yes. So per the workshop, and just again we said it in the workshop, but to make sure that we've got it on the record, very, very much a commendation and just a thank you to all the department heads for their patience and in being able to discuss through this touchy subject is essentially what it comes down to. A summary of what we're discussing here would be that because of the software change, we had to shift our pay cycle from the 16th through the 15th of the month. In doing so, we had already paid April 1st to the end of April, and then in shifting it for May, we paid April 16th through May 15th. So in technically, as far as the finances go, we double paid every employee in the county for that last half of April. This was something that we didn't realize. We knew that we wanted to move this direction with the pay cycle shift, but we're still discussing on how do we actually do that. When the software came in and the training started happening, and we, within the week of actually submitting payroll for May, found out that change needed to happen now. And so we were forced to make a decision. My department was forced to make a decision, and I tried to keep that transparent with the commission.
And for the record, you didn't say this because it's so new. Mm-hmm. The shift was to the first of the month and then the 30th. You just said shift. We had to shift it from that old one.
Yeah, so from the whole month to the old cycle to the 15th.
To the new cycle, and the new cycle is 1 through 30.
Is 16 through 15.
Yeah, I mean 16.
Yeah, with payroll
being
the payroll date stayed the same. So everybody is still paid the last working day of the month, but the cycle for which they are paid on that last day is now the previous 16th through the 15th of the month. So that's what needed to happen in the system, because within the system you can't pay somebody for hours that they had not worked yet. It was also brought up that it was surprising that the county had been operating off of that, because really logistically it was very tough, especially for departments like public health, road and bridge, sheriff's department, to guess essentially what those last 2 weeks of the month were going to be in order to get it in time for payroll, and then try to readjust on the next month. And so this really is going to be a lot of time saved across all departments, a lot of potential errors saved in putting in the wrong amounts. And so overall, the pay cycle shift was a good move for the county. That being said, because we had to make quick action on that, and because the software was requiring that, and we double paid for that last half of April, we then had to have the discussion of how do we make sure that we reconcile that on the books. Right now, it doesn't hurt anything because we're all talking numbers and the budget's already been approved and it's just floating in the budget. But come the end of the year, all of a sudden we would have felt that action that had to be taken. And so the workshop consisted of all the department heads, or at least a representation from the departments.
So the county's doing half of that?
Yes, correct.
So that's not right.
It's this.
Okay, so what's the recommendation?
So the recommendation from the workshop, as determined by everyone if present, is that the county absorb 50% of the total payroll conversion cost. So the total payroll conversion cost is $123,808.35. That's the actual numbers of what everybody worked for that last half of April. That was half of a salary paycheck, if somebody's salary, and that was figured on a 40-hour work week for the sheriff's office, half of a month's work for the sheriff's office, since they had previously made the conversion. So that comes out to that $123,808.35 figure. The county will absorb half of that as a conversion cost for the new software. And then 50% will be absorbed by the employee or the department as determined by the department heads. So the departments are now going to be going back to their departments, discussing with employees and working on looking at their budgets. But essentially it comes down to 4 different options that the employee or that the department has. The restrictions around sick and vacation leave would be lifted so that anybody can use that to help cover the perceived shortfall within their check. Just a reminder that sick and vacation time may be donated, and that may be donated to a full or part-time employee. So that way they could help, again, use that towards the perceived shortfall.
Both within a department and interdepartmental.
Yes, yeah. So that could be exactly within a department or across departments. The department might use within their budget, their departmental budget, to help cover that for an employee. Or the very last thing that would have to happen, or some combination of the above, would be that the employee pays that over 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. And then the way we also determined that was that the finance department would be sitting down with every department over the next couple of weeks to discuss with the department head what options they're taking per employee. And then the finance and human resources department will make sure that that's all straight in the system and that everything works out according to their wishes.
And the only thing I think you probably should address is that all has to be done by December 3rd.
Yes. So again, this would take place starting this coming month, that a decision has to be made. At the very least, a department's employees over 6 months will have to pay back that double payment of the last half of April. Just for clarification for anybody that might be listening, and a point that's come up is that they are only getting paid for the hours that they're working. We've double paid them for those particular 6 hours. All we've done is we've moved the paycheck, we've moved the pay cycle back 2 weeks. So that way everybody is getting paid 2 weeks in arrears for what they had earned before. So again, payroll happens on the last working day of the month, but it's for the 16th through the 15th. So if somebody were to have started on the 16th of June, they wouldn't actually get their first paycheck until the end of July, and it would be for the 16th of June through July 15th. And then if they were to quit at the end of July, they would get paid for that last 2 weeks of July in their August paycheck. So truly everybody gets paid for exactly what they work. It just gets moved back a month based on that pay cycle.
Okay, so very clearly then the employee is not losing any money. They're getting paid for every hour that they have worked. It's just how we're shifting through this conversion.
Correct. And this is very much, I would say, because of the conversion and the hardship that's going to be felt by moving this system the way it is, the reason why we wanted to have this discussion.
Okay. Any other points to make?
Can I just ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So how are you going to keep track of this group of employees right now that's doing this year to year, so that if you're not here in 15 years or longer for some of them, and we don't remember, or the employee doesn't remember, how are you going to track that?
It will be on the correct track by the end of the year, regardless of what options are taken. And so starting January 1st, 2022, none of this will all have been reconciled, and everybody will be paid correctly, whether they've been here for 20 years, whether they're going to be here for 20 more years. There's no more records that will need to be kept track of regarding this, because we will have fixed it this year.
So it's just a matter of whether you can stay with it for the next 6 months.
If I can make it through the next 6 months, we'll be good. But I guess over this month, just logistically from the finance side, there is a way in the system to say over over this period of time, this is what somebody's going to get paid. And then starting on this date, they're going to go back to their pay.
Yeah.
So it will be extra work on the department, but it will be very easily trackable on a one-time, put it into the system. So even if I were to get hit by a bus after this has all been determined, it's still in there and it's going to work out the exact way it's supposed to for this year.
Barbie or Vern can pick it up if you're gone.
Yeah, the system will automatically pick it up. Yeah.
So if one of my employees quits next year.
Yep.
They quit July 15th.
Yep.
They're gonna essentially get paid at the end of July for their,
Sure.
For June 16th through July 15th.
There's 2 weeks.
then they're gonna get July 15th to the end, even though they didn't work it. They did work it, but they never got paid for it. They'll get that at the end of August.
If they worked through the end of July, yes, correct. If they
Not
only
if
worked,
they worked through the end of July.
if they only worked through July 15th, they would not, because they're getting paid through the end of July 15th for that pay cycle.
But then they'd still get their money from being in arrears, right?
That's what I'm not understanding.
The answer is yes, because you're
Answer yes.
reconciled.
They would be getting their paycheck at the end of July. That's 2 weeks after they left.
Exactly.
Right.
And that would actually be a full paycheck.
That is the
But
arrears.
it's
And that
paying
includes
for
2 weeks.
June 16th through July 15th.
And the arrears.
Is what it is. So
Plus 2 weeks.
Right. That's
No.
correct.
No, there's not an extra 2 weeks in there.
No.
the paycheck
2
is
weeks.
coming 2 weeks after the time is accrued.
In your example, if they quit on July 15th, they'll get a full paycheck on July 30th
If they
And
were,
they're 2
to
weeks.
make up that 2 weeks.
if they were to quit on July 30th, then they'd get a paycheck on July 30th for June 16th through the July 15th. And then in August, they'd get a paycheck for July 16th through the end of July.
That's the 2 weeks.
So that's the arrears side of it. The covering the double side of it happens within this year through
This will all be cleaned up January
the
1.
50/50 plan here.
There won't be any more tracking any of this that we talked about today after January 1. The books will have been reconciled.
Okay, so I must be really stupid. Because if they're paying it to the county, but they haven't got it yet. They did not get it you did not put it in a paycheck yet.
We did. Because it was the same, right? It was the same as normal roughly.
Yeah.
But it was for that April 16th through the 30th, which is the double paid part. If we were to pay truly, if we were to have not paid it, on the other hand, would be this last paycheck, everyone would have only gotten half a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody did get paid that amount, technically speaking. And so we have paid that second amount. This is how do we recoup that second amount, which is the double payment.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to jump on that.
And we can
Stew
talk
on
about
it.
it more.
I'm gonna steal it.
Well,
I'll get it eventually. I understand it,
It's really, because it's all
You want to be
imaginary
comfortable enough
numbers.
to explain it. I know.
I would move that Custer County absorb the unbudgeted CIC conversion expense of $61,904.17.
You're saying?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for the county to absorb the conversion cost of $61,904.17. Discussion.
Because the motion included the word unbudgeted, then at some point between now and the end of the year, we'll have to do a budget amendment for that amount.
Yeah, we'll see, have to see what he recommends. Good. Any other discussion?
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Tom.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
The only thing I think we might address and put on the record, as well as just the lifting of restrictions over sick and vacation.
Yeah, that's on your options
Yeah.
discussion and
So
that
we
should
probably ought to
be,
have a motion to that because it's in conflict.
that's a good idea because our policy says.
Personnel policy.
All right, so I move we lift restrictions on the sick and leave restrictions for use for the conversion cost for the employee
Over the next 6 months.
over the next 6
So,
months.
for 6 months. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to lift the restrictions on the leave and sick leave for the conversion. All in favor, say aye. Kevin?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
And that was just through
December
December.
30.
And then when we do convene a workshop to deal with the personnel policy,
Then we gotta remember we did that.
look at that whole sick.
Not a bad
We
idea.
created it.
Yeah.
It may not have anything in it, but it has been created. We did that.
Yeah, it was. I remember doing
In the
it.
board meeting.
Yeah.
So it's there. It just isn't on the books.
Sure.
Okay.
Cliff, you got something for the meeting?
Just
Oh, okay, all right. Any other item, discussion? If not, I adjourn this meeting.
You didn't have anything online for public comments. So we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Braden.
Thank you all.
Good job, buddy. Thanks for all your work.
Yeah, excellent job, actually.